Hello, it's Margaret here with Margaret Stamping Studio, and I just wanted to share a quick class with you. It's February's Class in a Flash. My Class in a Flashes are a free with purchase class. So if you go online and place a $35 order by Monday, February 12th by midnight, I'll send you a kit to recreate these cards. You'll be able to make two of each. And the only thing I don't provide are stamped images. Those you'll have to use what you have. If you have the same stamps, great. If not, get creative because that's what this is all about anyway. So anyway, I'm going to switch views here so you can see my hands and see what I'm up to. And hopefully you'll love these cards as much as I do. They're all easy and quick and of course, adorable. All right, so here we are. I've got a sympathy card. I've had a lot of requests lately, unfortunately, for sympathy. So this one is probably the easiest. That's what we'll do first. And then I just love the patchwork dies. I believe that's what they're called. There's two different dies that come in the standalone die set, and it's just really cool. So you kind of put together a little puzzle there. And then this third uses the translucent florals and this gorgeous designer paper. The paper, the designer paper is only available online, or that's the only place you can find it. I mean, as a demonstrator, I can order it for you, or you can order it online, but it's not in a catalog. And that's how they kind of Stampin' Up. We'll call those items an online exclusive. So there's that, but I'll show you the rest of the paper later once we're making those. So we'll start off with this easy one. This we are using the ink and tiled stamp set. Boho blue, misty moonlight, and basic white cardstock. And this die comes from the Daisy. Cheerful Daisies, I believe the die set's called. That's where I got the little label, but you know, labels are in so many of the sets, and this one I just thought was it's got just a little bit of stitching in it, and I thought that was nice and simple and not too much. I don't like to add too much zhuzh on a sympathy card. The heartfelt sympathy does come from the Seaside Bay, which is one of my favorites. Okay, so let's get those out of the way. Get my ink open. We're also using a little bit of the Night and Navy bordered ribbon. And this one is so easy, but so pretty. Sometimes the easier the card, sometimes the prettier it is. So when I have a large image, I like to put my ink to the stamp. And I'm just doing this real quick and easy. I'm doing one full strength. I'm lifting it, shifting it, and stamping it again. And that's called stamping off when you stamp that way. And you can actually stamp 2 or 3 times and just get lighter saturations of color. But I think 2 is just perfect. Let's make up the heartfelt sympathy here. Hopefully that's in the center. Pretty close. Not too bad. Close that so I don't put my hands in it. Okay, now for this, and it's just so pretty. Just love that. I'll use Stampin' Seal on the back. And this is a little piece of Misty Moonlight. Now, if you do choose to order, I will send you an instructional tutorial with the dimensions and everything also. Okay, so I'm going ahead and I'm putting the adhesive on the back. Because it's just going to get glued flush. But what I'm doing is I'm laying my ribbon across the front here. And I decided that's where I like it. So I'm just tucking this right edge in the back. And then I'm going to center this on the boho blue card front. And then I'm going to put just a little touch of adhesive right there. Hopefully it's in the right spot. Just to kind of hold the ribbon taut. And then I'm going to use this little curve that's not quite straight. There we go. Yeah, the adhesive is very forgiving on ribbon. I'm going to go ahead and put 3 dimensionals, and I'm going to put this third one up at along one of the edges, and that'll just help it stick to the make sure it has some sticking to the cardstock and not just the ribbon. So I'm just going to overlap it like that. And I figured the dimensionals are mostly on the ribbon, so that's why I put that third one up there, so it was good and secure. And that's how you make the sympathy card. If you want, you could add some bling or maybe a little bit of Wink of Stella to give it a little shimmer, but I like it just like that. So I didn't add anything to that one. Which, if you know me, I usually like bling, and I don't think I put bling on any of these cards. So let's switch to this, the Patchwork Pieces card. This one I'm using the Just a Note image from the Filled with Happiness stamp set. Now this stamp set coordinates with our modern oval punch. This is a great punch. Unfortunately, it's back ordered until March, so you can't order it right now. Oh, like you can see my phone in there. But once it comes back available again, you're definitely want to get your hands on it. Some of you might already have it, and that's why that's why it is. You can't get it right now because it's been so popular. But anyway, this has some great greetings, and the oval punch will punch out these inner well, the small one obviously that we're using today, and it's not small. But these have the outer ring that would stamp flat on your card, and then you could stamp it a second time and punch out the center and raise it. So it's a really neat set. I do like that. And then these are the patchwork dies I was telling you about. So what I did for these is I ran this die through with a Parakeet Party, Pool Party, and Pumpkin Parade, and then I was able to switch up the colors and make that. So there's the swoop, I call it, and then this one is the Starburst. That's what I call that one. I make up names for things. So let's see here. Now, in your kits, I've got them, the ones that I've cut so far, I've cut so where you'll have 2 of the same colorway. And when I mean colorway, it's like orange, blue, green, orange, and they'll all be in the same place. So when you're building your puzzles, I call them, you'll be able to do 2 in the same way, and it won't take much thought or as much thought. You also have a strip of paper, and this is for both of your ovals. So you'll have in your kit, you'll have 2 each of these wonky pieces. And what I like to do is actually, I like to put my adhesive on this white piece of cardstock. And I go all the way around, and I leave about 1/4 to 1/8 of an inch edge on all 4 corners. I'm trying to catch there, I guess you can kind of see the glare there of the adhesive. So I do all the way around the edges, and then I come back in and I do 3 more strips just to make sure there's plenty of adhesive to hold all the pieces. It's a lot easier than trying to put adhesive on these little, those little pieces. It's not real easy. Okay, there we go. Especially this guy. That guy's not fun. So I like to start in the bottom right corner. Of course, you can start whatever you can, since I already have one there to go by. I didn't think to do this, but what you'll want to do is you want to lay out your pieces the way that they go. And then I like to start in the bottom right corner, and you want to leave, I'm going to say about 1/8 of an inch border. It might, you might have too much border on some of the edge pieces, but you can just trim that away, because that's what I did on most of mine. There we go. And then you just put these up together. And since they were all cut from the same die, in theory, they should all fit together perfectly, which they do pretty close. I just made that look so easy, didn't I? Okay, I'm gonna pause this real quick because I do need to get up and trim that, and I forgot to bring my trimmer over here. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I've got that trimmed so my little white edges are about the same. And you can either use dimensionals or just adhere this flush. I'm adhering it flush. I'm just putting a piece on the back of that. Centering that on my card front. And your card base is the thick Whisper White, which I prefer for the card bases. Our Whisper White is fantastic for clear, crisp stamping, but it's got the same fiber count, but it's pressed so much, and so it's nice in a tight weave that it feels thinner, so it doesn't make as good of card bases. All right, so next I'm going to stamp this, and I'm going to stamp it sideways on my strip because that's the way it'll punch out easier. Again. Punch that. Grab a few dimensionals. Now I kind of like my swoop coming from the top to the right, and I probably should have mentioned this before I adhered it down, but if you wanted, you could even have your swoop going up. Really, I don't know how else to say that. If any of you have a better idea, you can always message me and say, hey, you should have described it like this instead. I am always open to constructive criticism. All right, or we could even have it, I think I will have it going like that. That's cute. All right, so I'm actually changing the orientation completely. And instead of making this a side open card, I'm having it open, having the fold at the top and putting it there. That's cute. You can always just play around and do whatever you want. So that is our second card. And boy, these are nice and quick. Well, this last one takes a little bit longer, but not too much. There's my little card pack. I've got a lot of stuff around here. This one does have a few more pieces, and we'll be using the Bubble Bath, Berry Burst, and Pretty Peacock. I also have a blend there. Here's my I love this glass mat, and this glass mat, right now, the only way you can get this is by joining Stampin' Up! And becoming a demonstrator. What's great about being a demonstrator is you can just be a happy shopper and, and just get the discount for yourself. I have, once you start purchasing Stampin' Up! And using their products, a lot of times that's all you really want to stick with. So whether you want to share it with friends or not, Stampin' Up! You have the ability to just be a happy stamper. And I think that's wonderful. So anyway, so for during celebration, get back to the point, this glass mat is like a bonus that you can choose when you sign up. You can either get this mat, which has the silicone piece, which if you're really big into mixed media, this thing is wonderful. It will keep your ink pads from going. You can mix your colors in here. You know, the little ink spots that come with the paper pumpkin kits, they sit right in here and are held fast. And then you can pick up your glass mat and this would not fall off. It actually sticks on there. And then there's this awesome little chamois cleaning mat. It's like our Stampin' Chamois for the just for cleaning your stamps. It's the same material, but it's super thin and it's really lightweight and it works beautifully because I did a little cat a while ago. So anyway, for $99 plus tax, there's no shipping. You get $125 product of your choice. And then during celebration, which ends the end of February, you can either get this glass mat or you can choose an extra $30 in product. So now, if you've been thinking about it, now's the time to sign up. And of course, you can reach out to me if you have any questions. I'm more than happy to answer. And I do try to get together with my team every other month or so, and we have a blast. So we have lots of fun. We try to get together and be silly. All right. So I'm going to start out with this card. And this is such a neat card, and it opens. It's kind of like a half fold because your left section of the card is glued flush, but it opens like that. You still have plenty of room to write, and it's just so pretty. So pretty. I love this paper. Okay, so I'm going to start out with this leaf image. And I'm just randomly stamping this on, I'm going to call it the spine. So the left side of the card is the spine. And this stamp, oh, I didn't even tell you, is called Translucent Florals. And this is in the annual catalog. There is this, a die set that goes with it that cuts out the main images. And then it also creates, oops, missed that one. It also creates a standalone flower, which I love those. All right, let me close this so I don't put my card in it. So we've got that. So we stamp that first, then we're going to put the designer paper down. And I'm just kind of butting that up against the score line, which those are already scored for you in your kits. Now I do need to trim off some of that extra, but I can do that later because that's not going to affect the fold. So what you do, oh, that's a little bunch. We don't want that. We want to use the your largest circle punch, which is 2 1/4, 2 3/8. That's 2 3/8. And what you're going to do is you're going to put it in your card front and as far as you can. And I like to line the edge of the punch up with the middle fold line of your card. And then we're just going to punch that out. Okay. Next, we're just going to glue this card closed. So, all right, that looks like I need to do something to sharpen that punch. A little tin foil should do the trick. Okay, so next I'm gonna open up my Berry Burst. And I'm gonna stamp this large flower, just ink it up. You wanna tap very lightly with this type of stamp because it's got so much fine detail. It can get blotchy if you have too much ink in it. So you really want to use a real light touch with that. And then I'm using Pretty Peacock. Took me a minute to remember what this ink was. All right. And I'm just stamping the stem. You see, I've got ink here on my mat. Look at that. It's all gone. And I just inked this on my, real careful with my leaf. Okay, that looks better. And stamp the leaf. Get ink off of there. Since we're at it, I'm gonna stamp my greeting. If I can get my little strip, here we go. Did not work. Good thing I have an extra piece. This is one time you don't want to flip your cardstock over because when you open the card, you can see the back. I always try to cut extra of these little pieces. There we go. That's better. Okay. Now, I'm sure you can tell here on the designer paper, the leaves are kind of two-toned. And I thought, well, I could sponge some Parakeet Party on the top portion of the stamp. But then I'm like, well, that's kind of a bit of trouble. And I remembered our Stampin' Blends, the alcohol markers, you can use over top of our basic classic ink. And because they're opposites, they won't bleed. So what I did is I just used the brush tip of my light Parakeet Party. And I brought some of that color in like that. And that way it carries through and it looks the same as our designer paper. So I was proud of myself for that cleverness. All right, here we go. So if you see what I'm doing here, I went ahead, I put adhesive on the back of the circle. And now I'm just through the middle of the card, I'm tucking it in. And since I use the same punch, I'm able to just stick it right in here and adhere it down. And so it's the perfect window. I'll take my little paper snips and I'm just angle cutting both sides and in the same direction. Like so. And grabs just 2 dimensionals and I'm just going to put them on what will be the right side, and I'm tucking them up close on the right half because I don't want them to be visible or to accidentally adhere them to the white, to the opening, because then your card won't open. So let's see if I did that right. Yep, I did. And you also want to try to make sure your banner doesn't go past this middle score line. So that way it'll open up just fine. And that's crooked. Let's see if I can scoosh that up a little bit. There we go. That's not quite crooked. Okay, so there is the third card. And isn't that so? And I promise you, I'd show you this designer paper real quick. So this is the piece that we used, and the back is like a green watercolor. And like all of our designer papers, you have 6 designs, and they're double-sided. So that's the second. 630. There's that one. Look at this one. Isn't that so pretty? It's just so delicate and dainty. I want a shirt out of that. Look this one. So these, you could actually cut these out and use those on your projects. And then there's these other leaves, which are so pretty. All right, then let me go ahead and flip these over because they're all a watercolor like this, but only different colors. Look how pretty. Would these be so neat with the patchwork dies? I mean, I hate to not use them for the pretty florals, but yeah, those would be so pretty with the patchwork dies, cutting those out. So you can always see this paper online. All right, so there's our cards for today. When ordering, remember you'll want to use the host code XMXYR3R3, and you want to order by Monday the 12th by midnight. I'll check Tuesday morning, just, you know, so if it's 3 a.m. Tuesday, that's fine. That'll count. And I'll send you a kit to recreate these. And yeah, if you're placing a $35 order, right now it's celebration. So with $50, you can choose one of the free special products. So should probably take advantage of that too. So anyway, you all have a wonderful day. I will post in the details of this video and everything. I'll have a link to my store and with the host code. So if you didn't write it down, no biggie. All right. Well, you all have a wonderful day and happy stamping.